Top 8 times Santa was caught on camera. Our goal is to bring you some of the most amazing travel destinations and tips as you adventure around the globe. So do subscribe to our channel and turn on that bell icon to add amazing new places to your travel bucket list. Without any further delay, let's get started. Number 8. Santa in Birmingham. Christmas Eve is Santa's busiest time of the year, and one of our readers has spotted the man himself flying over Birmingham and the bull ring. Father Christmas usually starts his journey at the international date line in the Pacific Ocean and travels west. Historically, he visits the South Pacific first, then New Zealand and Australia. After that, he shoots up to Japan, over to Asia, across to Africa, then on to Western Europe, Canada, the United States, Mexico, and Central and South America. However, it looks like he may have taken a detour this evening on his journey around the world. The video shows a flash of red shoot across the sky over the bull ring, and the only explanation can be that it was the big man himself. Unfortunately, we couldn't zoom into the video close enough to see what toys Santa Claus is going to be delivering, but you can tell that Rudolph is leading the sleigh once again with his shiny red nose. Number 7. New York City. It was Christmas Eve of 2002 in New York City. Her parents had invited some friends and relatives over for dinner, sort of like a Christmas Eve celebration. After that, she decided to go to her room to watch some television, but there was nothing good to watch. She then found herself pacing back and forth in the hallway. Her house is big, so there was no one with her. Everyone was in the living room watching a movie she wasn't really interested in. About 7 minutes into her pacing, she saw a tall, fat figure scurry away about 20 feet away from her. It was crouched down too. It was even wearing some sort of Santa Claus suit. She didn't believe in Santa, but this just freaked her out. There was a strange man in her house. She quickly ran to where her parents were and told them all about it. They grinned at her and said jokingly, maybe it was Santa Claus. She didn't believe that, so she just sat down in the living room with her family and everybody else. Then it occurred again on Christmas Eve 2004. She remembered it more vividly than the last time. She was lying on the couch in the living room. Her parents were in the kitchen having a conversation about a business blog or something. Suddenly, she saw a huge man about 7 or 8 feet tall crawl underneath the tree and just vanish. Before it disappeared, it looked at her and said, "Very strange," so she went into the kitchen and sat with her parents. Similar happenings occurred the following Christmases. She recalled one in 2007. It was daylight this time, and she just happened to see another tall figure with a Santa hat trudge by her for 2 seconds. Then it was gone. This really happened. Number 6. White Santa. He had an experience when he was 3 years old and still young enough to wear footed pajamas. The year was maybe 1969, Christmas Eve. He wanted to see what Santa had brought him, so he quietly walked down the hallway and looked around the corner to his living room. He saw his parents and someone he didn't know hanging around their Christmas tree. The stranger was an old guy with a white beard and hair with a red suit. He quickly went back to his room as fast as he could with footed pajamas and slid into bed. He told his mum what happened many years later, and she insisted that he was dreaming or that it was his dad. That wasn't possible though, because his dad was sitting in a chair behind the stranger and his mum was standing right next to his dad. This boy, and during that time, the tenants in the building were all African American, so Santa stood out. Number 4. San Antonio. He was about 7. He was looking outside her second-story window, just waiting to see him. She saw something approaching in the distance. It was a huge sleigh, and it was flying right over her house. She doesn't remember seeing any reindeer, but she did see a man dressed in red with a beard. She was so startled, but she kept looking, even sticking her head and half her body outside of her window. Told her family, but she knew they didn't really believe her. Swears on her life to this day that she saw something. Doesn't know if it was really Santa Claus, did see what she described. Number 3. Up on the roof. 3 Christmases ago, she was coming home from her girl aunt's where they had a party. She was crying because one of her cousins told her that Santa wasn't real. Then when they came home around the corner of her street, there it was. a big red sleigh and reindeer sitting on her roof. And then Santa just popped out of her chimney. She told everyone the next morning to see if they could remember, but they couldn't. But a couple of days later, her dad went up to the roof to fix a leak, and there were long, straight lines going across the roof. She took a picture and showed it to her baby cousins and told them to always believe. Number 2, airport parking lot. A few years ago, a woman worked at an airport. On Christmas Eve, a car pulled up to the window. The passenger was a very happy, chubby, white-bearded guy wearing red pants with red suspenders and a white turtleneck covered in red and green Christmas characters. He sure looked like Santa to her. The rest of the evening, she told all her customers that Santa had just flown in. Number 1, Eerie Santa. This boy was 5 years old, and he was in his room when he heard shuffling in the living room. He got up and peered around the doorway, where he saw a man in a Santa suit standing in front of the Christmas tree. He must have felt his presence because he turned around and looked directly at him. He didn't look jolly or kind and happy like you would expect Santa Claus to look. He looked kind of eerie, like he was staring directly into his soul. Automatically, he ran into his parents' room and hid under the covers. He didn't know why he was so scared at the time, but he wrote it off as a dream for a while before he forgot about it completely. Years later, he remembered it. He thought it could have been a burglar, but when he asked his parents, nothing was ever missing from their apartment. The only time they were ever robbed was when they moved later on. The only explanation he now has is that it was some kind of apparition. These are some epic Santa sightings right here. What do you think? Is Santa real? And what are your experiences with him? Leave us a comment below and make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our future travel videos. With that, I'll see you in the next video.